Hi, y'all. It's a scruffy sunset's coming at you here from. We're actually in Massachusetts, but we're not going to talk about Massachusetts today. We're going to talk about week 17 on the trail for us, and that covers July 12th through July 18th. I'm a little late in getting this out there, so I apologize. It appears about 8 days ago, I was convinced by Chica that I should let my beard grow for the duration of our trip, and she can be a very convincing woman, so I'm going to do it. Why not? So, this is about 7 or 8 days worth of growth for me, and let's talk about funner things. Um, So the week covers, like I said, July 12th through July 18th, and we started that week in Mashipacong, New York shelter. Um, I'm going to remind myself never to start and end a week with a very difficult to say shelter. That way I won't have to say it twice in back-to-back weeks. So that was mile 1330.8. We ended up at the Morgan Stewart shelter in New York. Um, the first one was in New Jersey. I don't know if I said that or if I said New York. But we were in New Jersey, then Morgan Stewart in New York for at mile 1438.0. And that gave us 107.2 miles for the week. Um, I think we hit a milestone of spending the most money in a week for this week. Pretty cool, huh? So we stayed at three different locations, or one motel twice, and another one a third time. So three total hotel stays. So accommodations was $278. In town spending was expensive as it always is. We had a trail angel do some slack packing for us, and we went to dinner with her, and we had a great time, and we ended up spending some money there. And then we just had our general, um, you know, if we're at the hotel, we need to have something in the refrigerator, right? Um, and then we went out to eat a couple other times. Oh yes, and we were in New Jersey and New York, so we deli blazed. So basically, every day for 3 or 4 days, we had a deli, and that's a $30 expenditure for two sandwiches, one for each Chica and I. Usually two sodas a piece and a bag of chips or something like that. So usually that ran about 25 or 30 bucks. So we spent $282 on in town food. We spent $138 on resupply. And resupply in New Jersey and New York, man, all this stuff, actually, we're seeing the prices starting to escalate drastically as soon as we hit New Jersey. And then we stopped in one place in New York and resupplied, and it was $70, and we barely bought anything. So resupplies are gonna, and everything really, I think, is about to increase in price. So we spent $698, almost $700. We went 107.2 miles. So we spent $650 per mile, or broken down per person, $3.26. Um, this brings our total to $7,480 spent for the trip. Um, over 1,438 miles, 520, or broken down per person, $2.60. So we're a little bit high. I've decided not to worry about it. The budget's the budget. If we bust it, we have some reserve, and we'll be okay. But we're not going to kill ourselves. trying to meet a budget, especially the reason I'm doing this video today from yet another motel is because it's raining today. And while you can't dodge the rain every single time, when the forecast is 100% rain all day long, we're finding that we're comfortable in a motel room rather than trying to hike. And that's our hike. And it keeps us sane. And sanity is important to continue these last 6 or 7 weeks as we wrap this trip up. Um, Milestone's really the only milestone was New Jersey is done. We crossed another one off the list. Uh, New Jersey and New York were extremely challenging because of the heat and humidity. The terrain has changed a bit, especially once we got into New York. The climb, they were kind of really long, gradual climbs, but very rock slabby, if that's a word. So you're kind of walking on these craggly, long rocks, um, and you're just dripping sweat by 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's miserable. All right, let's get to your questions. Uh, Barb H. If we had it to do over, would we keep the same start date, or would we change it? I have been, and I think Chica would agree, have been very happy with our start date of March 22nd. We have not pushed ourselves extremely hard. Um, that start date allowed us to not be super cold in the pre-spring, I guess you would say. Um, so we didn't. We did run into snow in the Smoky Mountains and frost at Roan Mountain. However, we didn't have it as much as people who started in February. So I liked the way we started. It gave us the opportunity to um, do a 6 month long hike in mid September, which I think is going to be nice in Maine. Excuse me, giving us a full month to mid October should we need the extra time to complete our hike. So I think March 22nd was great for us. It worked out well, especially for someone who is in our condition, overweight, needed the first month and a half to kind of condition our bodies so that we wouldn't get hurt and do much slower miles. We're meeting now people who were much more fit, and they're starting, early to mid April, and they're catching up to us now, and they're just hiking super fast. That wasn't us. We needed that extra time to be able to condition. All right, Swat Sullivan. He always has interesting questions. If we could have only one food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, what would it be? And I take this to mean that we get one um, food for each meal, not the same food for all three meals. Um, so I asked Chica, both of us really don't care about breakfast too much. So we're both kind of protein bar, get it done with people. For lunch, for me, it's always going to be jerky. I can eat jerky every single day. I could really have jerky for breakfast and lunch, although it's very expensive. So that would be an expensive way to do it. But I have beef jerky almost every single day as it is. For Chica, she would have Triscuits and cheese. That's kind of her choice of meals for lunch. For dinner, she loves the breakfast scrambler from Mountain House. Once again, we don't eat at Mountain Houses all the time. Usually, it's a family member who's kind enough to send it along to us because those are expensive to eat every single day. But this is a dream world, so she would have the breakfast scrambler for dinner. Me, I would probably have the lasagna from Mountain House, which I think is great. The two-person portion. Um, how let's see. How has our food taste changed? I don't think that it's changed much. Um, we did tire of the pasta and rice sides very quickly. And surprisingly for me, the mashed potatoes, the instant mashed potatoes, I thought I would really like those for a long time. And no, after about maybe a month, I just couldn't stomach them anymore, and I can't even look at a pasta side anymore. So I guess our tastes have changed a bit, um, as some things have become unpalatable. Okay. Third question from Swat Sullivan, uh, talking about water and planning for water. Um, how do you plan for water? He's heard of people running out of water and having water problems. Water can be a problem. There were stretches recently. Um, the last three states kind of blur, so I don't know which states they are in. I know Pennsylvania had a big stretch. New Jersey and New York all has stretches. One was up to 17 or 20 miles where there was no water. Around Lehigh Gap is a big section. Um, Fortunately, we split that up and stayed with some trail angels right there and didn't have to worry. Um, there was a 13-mile stretch where there wasn't water. Um, then we broke it up, and then there was another 7 miles. So I think that was a total of 20 miles. Um, so how do you deal with it? First off, Chica is extremely good about looking ahead in our trail guide to see what kind of water situation we have for the day, um, and 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 then we plan for that since the beginning. And a lot of people really stress out about how much water they're taking because it's so heavy, um, and they only carry 1 liter at a time, and they hit every stream and drink a liter and take a liter. Uh, well, we're a little bit more cautious, and from the beginning, we've been carrying 2 liters of water, which has added to our backpack weight, but it's not that big of a deal. So we're prepared. We drink about a liter per 5 miles, unless it's extremely hot, and then who knows? We're drinking, a liter every mile or two, and then hitting every stream we can. Those stretches that are longer than say 8 or 10 miles, we're very cautious about our water usage. Um, and here in New York, um, because of the drought last year, there are water caches and trail clubs and trail angels providing water almost at every single road crossing. It was really incredible, um, because there were so many hikers in dire need of water last year. It's been a wet season this year, so it hasn't been that big of a problem. In fact, it hasn't been a problem at all. You could get water at any stream, and and throughout New York, um, there's also water uh, at a lot of uh, uh, the shelters that are pumped wells, and then there's some that are spigots that come from the municipality. So we haven't had any dire water issues. In fact, we haven't ran out once, but that is because we carry 2 liters and because of Chica's planning. Okay, TK asks, what has been the best thing so far and the worst thing so far? Um, I think for me, um, I would say the two answers are humanity and humidity. Um, Surprisingly, with this being an athletic event, an athletic journey with nature all around. the thing that has impressed me the most, and you hear this a lot on videos, and I didn't believe it until you're out here experiencing it. Um, Really, the most humbling thing is the humanity and people's kindness on the trail. Um, I've said it before. Chica and I aren't the most social people. We do videos, so we seem like we're very social, but we're not antisocial. We just keep to ourselves a lot. Um, but still, on the trail, we've made so many friends. We've met so many cool people, and all of them will bend over backwards to help you out. And we do the same when we see a hiker in need. We help them. So that humanity, it's funny. I was on the 2017 class group in Facebook, and it's a disappointing group in that a lot of times most of the threads devolve into bickering and name calling, and it's not a very positive place to hang out. But occasionally I get wrapped up in one of the threads, and one person was saying, "I read on this group how awful people are, and it makes me think that I should not do the trail." Um, I think it's exactly the opposite. If you want to renew your faith in humanity, do the trail. You will see that there are some really great people out there helping people who need to be helped, and just being cool. It's been great, and it's been a great transition from Costa Rica to here, because a lot of people in Costa Rica, a lot of the expats are kind of jaded against the United States, and they kind of have that same mentality that everybody's selfish and things like that. And in Costa Rica, everybody is kind for the most part. The Tico people are extremely kind, um, and so we get back here on the trail, and it's everybody is great. So that's the best. The worst has been the humidity and heat of New Jersey and New York, primarily New York. Um, you know, we have had to dial back our daily mileage to like 16s, um, and they are hard because you're just sweating and you're lumbering up these hills with leaden feet. It's very challenging to walk in the humidity. Uh, but anyway, it is what it is, and that's really been the hardest thing because those of you who have been watching the videos, that I have a real problem with the heat. Um, they say that people who have had heat stroke in the past or heat exhaustion are more susceptible to that, and I believe as a kid, um, I had heat stroke one time in a lake, and I think that has caused me issues in my adult life when I get overheated and I'm working too hard. So anyway, that is all the questions for today. That is today's video. Sorry it took so long. We're already at the end of the next week, and I'm sure I'll be doing a video for that. Um, and telling you all about that stuff. And I'll get to that probably in 4 or 5 days. We'll see. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Give us a thumbs up if you like the content. Give us a thumbs down if you don't care for it. Subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Ciao. Bye.